Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Want to find more information out about those coupon codes and all the companies that support us? You can find that out at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Money tab at the top of the page, and the Season Radio 9 tab at the top of the page as well. Crockpot dishes, Holly, that we can make pretty much all year round, but we're going to focus on some winter dishes.
Yeah, winter, fall, whatever, as some people, as we transition into fall or are into fall, people get kind of in the mood for crockpot stuff like soups or whatever, and then you kind of get into that cozy feeling as the days get shorter, nights kind of creep up on you. So here's some good ideas for what you can make. A lot of soups and stuff are very hearty in the crock pot, and a lot of these you can look for either recipes for whether you need vegan, traditional, vegetarian. You can, do modifications, whatever. So the first one is chili, and I know that seems obvious to a lot of people, but I've learned that some people don't know that you can make chili in the crock pot, or don't think about it. And also there's so many variations. Like you could do like a beef chili, you could do a vegetarian chili, you could do a chicken chili, you could do a venison chili. So there's different ways to make chili, and you can do with beans, without beans. You can do just black beans. You can add some corn. You can add different types of meat. You can do a lot of different things. So chili is definitely an option. You can add peppers. Like we have a friend who doesn't like beans, so she adds a lot of peppers.
Yep, and substitutes the beans for the peppers.
Yeah.
And calls it rainbow chili.
Rainbow chili. There we go. And then, so different soups that are kind of within the same line are like tortilla soup, taco soup, cheeseburger soup, lasagna soup. These all have some sort of like a tomato-y base with or like a beefy base, like the cheeseburger soup I think is like a beefy base, and then with some sort of meat, and either you have it with a pasta situation or like tortilla soup, taco soup. People will often like crush tortilla chips and put those on top. They're always good with cheese, etc.
Well, like the cheeseburger soup, you can add potatoes as kind of one of the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's not, it's ham, ground meat, potatoes, carrots, cheese, onions, different type. It's dried basil, parsley flakes. You can do a lot of things in order to do that, and your flour is kind of your and you make with broth.
Thicken it.
You thicken it, yeah.
Yeah, with the flour. You don't have to thicken it with the flour, but you can. It's an option. And lasagna soup, I've made that before, and it's kind of fun. It's like a different variation of a pasta soup. Now,
there are every different conceivable size of crock pot available that you can purchase. You probably have more crock pots than you know what to do with. I think we've got 3 to 5, somewhere in that range, from very tiny, like 1 quart, to 6, what's the big one, like 7 quart, the big square one?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that we have that small one. Yeah, so there are different sizes.
Now, here's what I'm getting at here. If you've got the time and the size, you've got a big crock pot, there's nothing wrong with making the dish for the family and making way more than what's going to be consumed, and then freezing it so it's easy to bring it out, warm it up, boom, you're done, whether it's in the microwave or throw it in a pot on the stove, whatever, and the cooking is already done. You're just in warm-up stage at that point.
Right. There's also soups like, like beef barley, etc. Some of those are okay in the crock pot for shorter periods of time, but barley cooks very quickly. So that's something that maybe you would bring if you were left this on while you were out, and then you would come home and put that barley in after it's been cooking for a while. And
you brought that up. There's still people that don't work from home. There's a lot of
right, or like on a weekend or
right,
something.
Yeah, you can set it and forget it. The old Ron Papil motto for his
yes.
Yeah.
So one thing I like to do,
and be sure you either set it and know what it is, either warm, medium, or low, or hot.
Right.
High, because high will cook like 3 times quicker.
Yeah.
And you want to be careful that you don't come home to bad things.
Right. You don't want to burn your soup or dish or whatever.
House.
So minestrone is it's a traditionally more of a vegetarian soup because it's made with beans and like a tomatoey broth. So that's something that anybody can enjoy, and it's easy to make on the stove, but it's even easier to kind of dump into the crock pot. So you can use like the broth, you would use the beans, and then that is another one where if you add the pasta, you don't want to add it too quickly because you don't want to overcook your pasta. Nobody wants mushy pasta. One of my favorite things is to make called chicken tacos, and this is like super easy. You just take about 1.5 pounds of skinless, boneless chicken, whether that be like chicken breast or chicken thighs, and then you dump in you can do 16 to 24 ounces of your favorite salsa, and then you just do 2 cans of beans, whatever your beans you like, and then you have this. It can be a chili in a way, but it's also good as tacos. If you don't want beans in your tacos, then don't add the beans. And then you just let it sit, and then you use it to make tacos.
16 bean soup. There's a lot of different beans out there.
You want that 16 bean soup?
There's a lot of beans.
Yeah. So anyway, then you can also make chicken fajitas in a very similar manner.
Now, you've done this. You've done the chicken fajitas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And I've done the chicken tacos.
Yes.
Yeah, or like sometimes we eat it as chili, whatever.
Now chicken tacos. People will say fish tacos, but the fish in a crock pot probably would not.
I don't think you would enjoy that
because it would just kind of fall apart to nothing.
Right. That would not be good.
Right. I'm just saying. You can do beef tacos and pork tacos. I'm sure there's lamb tacos, and then there's vegetarian tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are usually with like beans.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or jackfruit is another one, but you don't want. I don't think you would cook jackfruit in your slow cooker. Anyway, so then we have what are called swamp potatoes, which I have made. I like them. You take those small potatoes, or new potatoes, whatever they're called.
I call them baby potatoes. They're the size of golf balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you add green beans. You can add mushrooms. You don't have to add mushrooms. And then you cut up whatever kind of sausage you like, whether it be kielbasa or brats. I typically do kielbasa. And then you take a packet of the onion powder soup mix, and you mix it up, I think, in 2 cups of water. And you pour that over the top. You can add any other seasonings you want. I usually end up adding garlic. And you set it and you forget it. Did I say green beans?
Yes.
Yes. So then it's like kind of a heartier meal. It's pretty well flavored. I think I add pepper too. And then it's a nice little easy crock pot meal.
Now, with any of these, we are a mild tongue family. We don't like things spicy hot. But there are people that can go all out and intensify the flavors of any of these crock pot dishes with powders or liquids in order to get a heat level in which they're satisfied with.
Yes. And there's also a number of recipes you can make with cream cheese, cream of whatever soup. And not that I'm opposed to those recipes, just that Joey and I are both lactose intolerant.
I fight it.
I don't. So it's hard for us. And I could use, I can eat cottage cheese. So I guess I could probably use cottage cheese if I blended it up. But, yeah, I just...
And with that lactose intolerant thing, there are certain fast food restaurants where you can go and eat ice cream all day long and perfectly fine. And there's other ones where you drive by and you look at the ice cream and bad things happen.
This is true. I can eat some soft serve, and then there's some stuff I just can't eat.
And some of it's so good you just fight it because it's delicious and you know what's going to happen. So you just, that's 2 hours from me. 2 hours later, me, not now me.
Right.
Yeah.
Sad. Happy now, sad later.
Yeah.
In pain later. So potato soup, this is typically like a creamy potato soup situation, but you can, I've made stuff with cashew milk instead of heavy cream, and it does taste very similar. So
what is the purpose? What is the purpose of the milk? Is it a binding agent?
It's just to make it creamy.
But in certain applications, like you were talking about the nut milk, it's not as creamy, but it doesn't, it doesn't negatively affect the dish.
The taste.
Right.
Yeah. Some milk alternatives are sweeter. Like, to me, oat milk and almond milk have a natural sweetness to them, but the cashew milk doesn't have that sweetness. And I've even used, like, I don't know, what was it, like some sort of pea protein milk. It's the same thing. So you want to definitely, swap things out as best as you can if you choose to. I just thought of something.
Yeah.
For crockpot, it's called Mississippi pot roast, and this is very popular nowadays. And people use either a roast. Some people have used chicken.
Would a turkey work?
Sure.
I mean, there's a certain point where any swaptation of ingredients, as long as
But you don't want to put a whole turkey in there. You would want to use like the turkey breast,
right,
or something.
A smaller turkey, yeah. 8 to 10 pound turkey.
And what you do is you take the cut of meat, and you want probably about 2 pounds. You take that meat, you put it in there, and then you take a ranch seasoning packet. And if you can find low sodium, that would be best. You take a ranch seasoning packet and then a gravy or au jus seasoning packet, and you dump that on there. And then you take whatever kind of peppers you want, jarred peppers. Most people use like the sweet banana peppers, but some people do use hot peppers. And then you dump that in there with all the juice, and then you put a stick of butter on top. And you let it go. And it tastes so good and so rich, but it is very salty because of the seasoning packets. So I try to look for the low sodium ones when we do this.
So with any of these crockpot dishes, is it, you say set it and walk away, set it, forget it. There's no needing to mix or stir until the time has elapsed in which it's time to serve, and then you would combine whatever ingredients that haven't got combined. And
for the most part, yeah. You would have to definitely read the directions and make sure that it's not something where you have to stir it every hour on the hour. I prefer, crockpots work best when you don't keep opening the lid.
Yeah.
So most of them don't require the stirring part. Joey, summer's winding down, but just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles and other grubs. They may now be hidden, but they're not far. Not only did the beetles feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf so that they can invade your yard again next year. Fight back with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granule that applied to lawns and specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae with an 80% plus control even in the fall.
Holly, did you know that Grub Gone is the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs? And when you combine it with the best chemical grub control at very low amounts, BioAdvanced grub control products, the tough-to-kill fall season grubs, are hit with a 1-2 punch that kills them at the best rate tested, nearly 100%. This combo of the best of biology and chemistry is called IPM, Integrated Pest Management, which is the best industry practice. Mix 1.25 pounds of each per 1,000 square feet equals 100% control. Grub Gone from Phylum Bioproducts, the best combination of safety and performance.